it is alenajingle again, back with video number 12 in the series I've been doing of less popular alternatives to the top 100 boy names in the US for the year 2014. And for this video, I'm going to hopefully be talking about names 45 through 41. At 41 in the year 2014 was the name Levi, which is a Hebrew name that means joined. This name can also be pronounced Levi. I do have a friend from Israel whose last name is spelled L-E-V-I but pronounced Levi. This name is of course super associated with the Levi brand jeans, and Levi was actually the first name of the man who invented the blue jean, which is kind of amazing. Levi Miller is the name of the young actor who played Peter Pan in the new movie called Pan, and Levi Stubbs is the lead singer from the Four Tops. So I couldn't ever use this name because the Levi association in the Bible is not a very positive one, but I totally get why people love the name Levi. I think it has a gorgeous sound, and it's kind of a hot guy name to me. I kind of picture just a really good looking person with this name. This name has been in the top 100 boy names since 2009 and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names, and I do think that this is a name that people don't realize how popular it is right now. My first Levi alternative I have is Adlai, which is a Hebrew name that means God is just. I really love that meaning. Adlai was one of the names in the Bible of David's herdsmen in the Old Testament, and Adlai Stevenson was the vice president under President Grover Cleveland during his first administration. So I wouldn't have thought of Adlai as a presidential name, but it definitely is when you think of that association. Adlai is super uncommon in the US right now. It was only in the top 1,000 boy names in the US for 3 years in the 1800s and has not been since then. And I don't get why, because this name is just a gorgeous name to me. It has the same feel as Levi, as far as I do see it as a hot guy name, if that makes any sense. I think that lovers of Levi might like Adlai because they're both 2 syllables, they're both Old Testament names, and they both end in that I sound. And my next Levi alternative I have is Lev, or Liev, which is a Russian name that means lion, another name that means lion. Lev or Liev was the original first name of the author Leo Tolstoy, who wrote Anna Karenina. Lev is also the name of a Bulgarian currency, so Lev for them might be kind of like penny for us. I think someone that likes Levi might like Lev because they're only one letter apart in their spelling. I think Lev is a gorgeous name, and especially would make a good middle name since it's 1 syllable. And my last Levi alternative I have is LIRON, which is a Hebrew name that means my song. I love that meaning so much. And singer Christina Aguilera has a son whose first and middle name is Max LIRON, and I think that was brilliant naming on her part, because obviously as a singer, calling her son my song would be very meaningful. There's also a gorgeous Israeli actor named Liron Levo, and this is also used on girls in Israel as well. I think that someone who likes Levi might like Liron because they both start with that Li sound, they're both 2 syllables, and they're both Hebrew names. At number 44 in the year 2014 was the name Jonathan, which is a Hebrew name that means God has given. Really great meaning. Jonathan is of course a biblical name, and in the Bible he was the best friend of David, and their relationship, their friendship is just absolutely beautiful the way it's described. I have tons of associations with this name. There is actor Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, actor Jonathan Lipnicki from the Stuart Little movies, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, or JTT of course, Jonathan Jackson, and Jonathan Davis, who is the lead singer from the band Korn. One of my favorite things about the name Jonathan is that it has tons of nickname options, because it has all the John nicknames like John, Johnny, Joe, and Jack, but it also has Nathan in it, so he could go by Nathan or Nate as well. This name has been in the top 100 boy names since 1962 and is going down in popularity. Though it has always been the top 1,000 boy names, it is definitely very dated in 2015 though. My first Jonathan alternative I have is Johanan or Johanan, which is a Hebrew name that means God is gracious. There are at least 9 men in the Bible with this name, which is kind of fascinating, and it is extremely rare in the US and is often spelled with a Y. I think that someone that likes Jonathan might like Johanan or Johanan for its very similar sound and look. And my next Jonathan alternative I have is Johnson, which is of course an English name that means son of John. A lot of people will associate this with Johnson & Johnson, the company that makes a lot of products but is mostly known for making baby products. Andrew Johnson was the name of the 17th president in the US, and it's such a popular last name. You might as well not even try to name all the associations with it, because there are just tons of people whose last name is Johnson. Johnson was in the top 1,000 boy names all the way up through the 1940s and a few years in the 80s, but has not been used much since then. And I think it's totally usable in 2015 in the US, in particular because names ending in S-O-N are super trendy right now, and a lot of people are loving them. And I think someone that likes Jonathan might like Johnson because of that super similar sound, and because they can both go by John, of course. And my last Johnson alternative I have is Parthalan or Parlan. This is an Irish name that, believe it or not, is the Irish form of Bartholomew, which means son of furrow. I think Parthalan needs to be discovered, and it has the coolest story in Ireland folklore, because Parthalan was allegedly the name of the man who was the first man on Ireland after the biblical flood. I think that someone who likes Jonathan might like Parthalan because they have kind of a similar sound and are both 3 syllables. At number 43 in the year 2014 was the name Landon, which is an English name that means long hill. I really strongly associate this name with actor Michael Landon, who played Charles Ingalls in the show Little House on the Prairie, which is super heartwarming to me. Landon Pig is one of my all-time favorite singers. He sings a lot of beautiful songs. The most popular one is probably Falling in Love in a Coffee Shop. Gorgeous, gorgeous song. And I think for sure that this name started getting popular after the movie and book A Walk to Remember became very famous, because the main character in that book is named Landon Carter. So unfortunately, this is another one of those names that I don't think people realize how popular it is. And Landon, from my experiences, is a name that is in every classroom. And unfortunately, just about every Landon I've met has been one of those really naughty, problem-causing kids. So because of that, I don't personally care for it too much, but I do think it makes a wonderful middle name for a child born in 2015. This name has been in the top 100 boy names since 2003 and has almost always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. My first Landon alternative I have is London, which is an English name of unknown meaning, though it does come from the name Londinium, which of course has an unknown meaning as well. London is of course the capital of England. London Brown is the name of an actor who stars with Dwayne Johnson or The Rock in his new show called Ballers. This name is more popular for girls, but it is definitely being used for boys since it was ranked at 611 in 2014 and has been in the top 1,000 boy names since 2000. Of course, I think that someone that likes Landon might like London because they're only one letter different in their spelling and pronunciation. And my next Landon alternative I have is Landry, which is an English name that means land strength. A lot of people are going to associate this name with entertainer Ali Landry, and there is an actor, an English actor, whose name is Caleb Landry Jones, who is in a lot of things right now. There's also, coincidentally, a football player from the Pittsburgh Steelers whose name is just Landry Jones without the Caleb at the beginning, so that's kind of funny to me. This name is ranked at 829 for boys in the year 2014 and has been in the top 1,000 boy names since 2010. And of course, I think someone that likes Landon might like Landry because of that similar beginning sound, and they're both surname names. The last Landon alternative is Langdon, which is an English name that means long hill, so they do have the same roots. I think a lot of people will associate Langdon with the Da Vinci Code because the main character is named Robert Langdon in that. And I just really love the sound of this name a lot. I really love the similar Langston as well, and I think someone that likes Landon might like Langdon since they're only one letter apart in spelling and pronunciation. Number 42 in the year 2014 was the name Christian, which is an English name that means follower of Christ, of course. This name has been popular for quite a while, and so there are several celebrities with this name, such as actors Christian Slater and Christian Bate, and actress Christian Saratos, which if you look up the name Christian, you will discover that originally was used mostly for girls. This name is currently going down in popularity, but has been in the top 100 boy names since 1986, and it was in the top 100 boy names a couple of years in the 70s as well, and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names in the US. My first Christian alternative I have is Karsten. This is a German name that means Christian, and this has been one of my favorite boy names for many, many, many years, and it's one that I would absolutely use, but I have 2 cousins named Carson and 1 cousin named Christian, so I think Karsten would just be too many similar names in one family. This, of course, would also work as a Carson alternative, and this name was in the top 1,000 boy names in the years 1997, 2000, 2001, and 2006. So just a few random years here and there, but otherwise it's very uncommon in the US. I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous name with a very cool sound, and I think someone that likes Christian might like Karsten because it has the same wonderful meaning, of course, and a kind of similar sound as well. My next Christian alternative I have is Cristiano, which is the Italian form of Christian, and everyone associates Cristiano with Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player right now. Of course, he's a Brazilian soccer player. This name has been in the top 1,000 boy names since the year 2011 in the US and is steadily rising, and for good reason. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous name, and of course I think that someone who likes Christian might like Cristiano because they have the same wonderful meaning. And my last Christian alternative I have is my most unique one, and that is Gentian. Gentian is an Albanian name meaning to beget. Gentian is the name of a plant, and the plant can produce a flower that is called gentiana, that is this just brilliantly blue flower that is named after an Illyrian king, King Gentius, who has known to have discovered the gentiana flower. Beautiful, beautiful story to me. When I looked up this name, it's possible that this has never ever been used in the US before, which is just crazy because it has a super accessible sound to me, and I think that someone that likes Christian might like Gentian because they both end in that T-I-A-N. My last name for this video at number 41 in the year 2014 is the name Jack, which is a diminutive of John, meaning God is gracious. Wonderful meaning. The name Jack has been popular for like basically hundreds of years, so there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of associations you will have with this name. There are lots of children's and nursery associations with this name, such as Little Jack Horner, Jack Sprat, who could eat no fat, and the story Jack and the Beanstalk. A lot of people love this name because of Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean Association, and there's author Jack Kerouac and actors Jack Nicholson and Jack Black. I'm sure I could go on and on forever with people that are associated with this name, not to mention there are lots of objects that go with this name, such as a Jack lift, or the Jack of Trades, the playing card, or just the game Jacks as well. This name has always been within the top 200 boy names in the US, and the only years it wasn't in the top 100 were 1965 through 1995. And always since then and always before then, it has been in the top 100 boy names. So it is extremely popular, but again, for good reason. It has a very strong sound, it's very classic, and because of its popularity, I do prefer this as a middle name. That being said, I think it would be so cool to see it as a middle name on a child in 2015. My first Jack alternative I have is Jacques, which is a French form of Jacob, meaning supplanter. I think many people, when they say the name Jacques, immediately want to say Cousteau after it. Jacques Cousteau was a renowned French marine expert, and I really like that Jacques is the name of one of the little fish from Finding Nemo, who's that little cleaner shrimp that lives in the aquarium with him briefly. This name was in the top 1,000 boy names in the US most years up through 1998, but has not been since then, which is of course almost 20 years now, and I think it is a gorgeous, super, super cool name. I would love to see a little boy named Jacques in the US in 2015. And of course, I think Jacques makes a great Jack alternative because of its similar look and sound, and I do think Jacques could honor a Jack as well. My next Jack alternative I have is Mack with either of these spellings, which is a Scottish name meaning sun. This name is often used as a nickname for names such as Mackenzie or Maxwell or Cormac. Actor Gary Sinise played a Mack Taylor in the show CSI New York. I very strongly associate the name Mack with him. I used to love and watch that show frequently. And of course, MAC is the name of a very, very big, popular, well-known makeup company. MAC, spelled M-A-C, was in the top 1,000 most years up until 1976 and not since then. And MAC, spelled M-A-C-K, was number 803 in 2014 and has always been in the top 1,000 boy names. I think that someone who likes Jack might like MAC because they are only one letter apart in their spelling and pronunciation. And my last Jack alternative I have is Jem. Jem is a diminutive of the names James or Jeremiah. A lot of people, when they say Jem, will think Jem Finch, which is the name of the son of Atticus Finch from the book To Kill a Mockingbird. I think Jem is super, super sweet, and I think someone who likes Jack might like Jem because they're both nickname names of classic boy names. For Jack, it would be John, and for Jem, it would be James. They're both one syllable, and they both start with J. That is my last name for this video. Please let me know what your favorites were of the alternatives I listed, and any other alternatives that you like for these names that I didn't mention. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.